Hey y'all, welcome back to Sip Happens. I'm Sean.
Oh wow, that's it. I'm Rosie.
I love that you were just expecting me to say more.
Analogy that you usually usually there's some convoluted message when we start, but I wasn't prepared for there not to be one.
I like to mix it up. I like to keep you guessing. Hey, but welcome back, y'all. We are so excited today because we have a lot of exciting things to do. So I might be talking a little fast so that we can make sure we can get through all of it. Man, web captioner really kept up. I'm proud.
I don't have web captioner up.
Yeah, I should minimize this. It distracts me every time. How you doing? How you doing, Rosie? How's everything going?
It's going. I'm doing well. I am, feeling better from last week, which I mean, granted, this is 6 weeks from now or something ridiculous in the time zone thing, but I'm doing great. How are you doing, Sean?
I'm doing good. I don't think our audience has any idea that you weren't feeling well and we canceled a record day because of it.
Yeah,
but now they do. So yeah, audience, weeks before, whenever you're seeing this, Rosie wasn't feeling very well. But yeah, I got a haircut.
I know, I love it so much.
It's happening and I hate it and I don't, but I kind of love it. I don't know what to do about it. I might just get up and cut it off in the middle of the show. Who knows?
Don't do that. You did that. So here is also a cool thing because of the way we've recorded and added in episodes. Your beard is going to grow, go away. Like, it's just going to be so interesting in the upcoming episodes. So your haircut happens and then it reverses.
I love it. You know what? Here's a little puzzle for everyone at home. Put our episodes in record order. Good luck.
By the way, you'll see the last one. I think we finally set out our schedule. Airs August 11th.
Yeah, we're recorded all the way through August 11th right now. Yeah. So, and then we just started reaching out to people to record over the summer so that we can keep going after.
Yeah.
But hey, what are we doing today? We have a guest, right?
Oh, yeah, we're drinking tea and we have a guest. I don't know what we're doing.
Our guest today is Aven from Menta Designs. They have a Kickstarter going right now called Prosperity. It's a board game based around running a tea shop, and it comes with a lot of cool stuff, and we're going to talk to them about it. And I'm very excited, and I want to talk more about what we're going to say, but I'm just going to wait so that we can say it as a part of the thing.
We need Aven on screen so that they can tell us about their product.
yeah, you're not wrong. But hey, we also have a dryad tea today.
Yeah. So the way this episode is going to work really fast, though, Aven was an awesome last-minute addition, as you can tell by Sean's hair and beard from last week to this week. So we've brought Aven in because they have a Kickstarter right now for their product. Aven was awesome enough to send us some samples of tea, but due to the last minuteness, post office running behind schedule, etc., we're not due. Sean's due the tea today. I'm due the tea delivery tomorrow. So we are going to record another little tag on at the end that actually samples one of the teas that's available through the game. But yes, today we are sampling a dryad tea because you can't not drink tea when you're having a tea show.
Yeah, it was either that or just lie to you about what we're drinking and be like, yes, we are drinking this tea that Aven made. And
we can't lie
delicious, maybe?
No, we're not lying here. So this dryad tea is called Night Owl's Delight, a live coders blend. And it says, sweet vanilla and honey lay the cake-like base for a light lemon overtones. Reminiscent of a light vanilla lemon scone, this black tea might just help with the motivation for any late night projects.
This is good. This is really good for me because today we're recording is Friday. It's nearly the end of March, which means it's nearly the end of my grad school semester, which I haven't brought up in a few weeks. But I have made progress. I have made lots and lots of progress, but I need to finish up a couple of last things. So tomorrow is going to be a big push for finishing up my grad school semester.
Awesome. Are you smelling it without telling us what's inside of it yet?
Yep.
Cool. You're in charge of the ingredients.
Ingredients. Black tea, lemongrass, lemon pieces, pineapple, lime pieces, calendula, Did I say it right? Sunflower petals, chamomile, and natural flavors. Yeah, and this is a black tea. We're going to steep it for 3 to 5 minutes in 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 93 degrees Celsius if you're anywhere but here.
It's not coming out. It's like not pouring for me. All right.
I've started my water. Hashtag tea fail, says our guest from the green room.
They are not wrong.
They are not. I'm excited. Have we had another they them? I'm excited just to have another they them with me.
I don't think we have had another. Wait, I know that you're super excited, and I don't want to take it away from my identities at all. But my birthday was on Monday. My brother bought me new first there's a cat.
It's super adorable. That's a tea infuser?
Low, so that my thing in my tea is really loud. So let me switch screens to see. Should we bring our guest on?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, let's bring our guest on.
Intro music. I've decided that's happening.
Hey! Hello!
Hi! Oh my gosh, it's a cat. That's
super cute.
I know. My brother got it for me. Last year for my birthday, I asked for like all D&D stuff, and this year I was like, anything tea related would be amazing. So here we are.
That's excellent.
Nice. That is.
Oh my God.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. So I'm still freaking out over this tea straining cat, or this tea infuser cat. Like, there's another one. I'm sure y'all have seen it called manatee, where it's it's a little critter that hangs on. Oh, that's so cute. Now I need to send you the catnip teas so you can use it in your tea infuser. Oh my gosh.
So hey, Aven. Who are you? What do you do? What's up?
Who am I? Such an existential question.
Yeah, we don't need to go there.
Who is any of us, really? So I am. My name is Aven Gonzalez. I am the designer. I design board games. I do graphic design, and I do video editing. And I work at an outdoor store. One of the two, and I happen to live on the West Coast, so I'll let you figure out which one of the two it is. But
Dick's Sporting Goods.
yes, Dick's Sporting Goods. Totally can't fix them. But yes, so I am the designer of Prosperity, which is a card game about buying, selling, and trading tea. Up on Kickstarter right now. I also designed Cantankerous Cats, which is another card game that has a lot of tea. For no other reason than we just liked tea. And like when we made that game, we were like, oh my God, what's the theme gonna be? And all the art and stuff is inspired by high tea, because cats are fancy. That was basically the motivation there. So yeah, I've been making tea in games for like 7 years now. I work with a company called I work with a friend of mine that has a company called St. Bastian's Tea Company, who custom designs these teas for me. And we just have fun playing with the ingredients and making flavors that people can enjoy with their games. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Also, you look amazing, if I could say that. I love the bow tie and the vest.
Thank you.
Apron? Is that?
Yes, this is a barista apron because in Prosperity you are all baristas.
Nice.
You all run a tea shop.
And Rosie also looks amazing. I feel like a schlub now. I thought we were dressing down and not up. My bad.
I checked the box in the thing that said fancy schmancy.
And that's
you're fine
or whatever. But this is the shirt that I wore for my TED Talk, which I gave. So.
Oh. Wait, like an actual TED Talk?
It was a TEDx. So a TEDx.
That's still pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
Like. Oh my God! Congrats! That's huge.
It was fun. But we're not here to talk about that. I just wanted to brag that this is the same shirt.
So I happen to have over here a Kickstarter open, Prosperity, and it's 400% funded, which will get.
It is doing. It is doing really well. I'm super proud of the work that everybody's put into it.
This looks awesome.
Thank you.
But I think one of the So I have talking points like a professional audience. So we're gonna go with the first one before we get to the second one, which is the one I wanted to go to. Anyway, so I have a note here that says sustainable design.
Oh yes.
So tell us a little bit about the sustainable design that's going into this.
Yeah. So as you can see on the Kickstarter page, we have some sustainable design promises, and this is being an outdoors person myself. Like I don't always do tea. I do a lot of hiking, camping, climbing, surfing, all the things outdoors. So the environment and beaches and forests have been kind of, I was born and raised in California. We have it all. And I see an awful lot of trash everywhere, and it makes me sad because since I was a kid, it's just been getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And as an individual, there's only so much one can do. But starting with this project, what I really wanted to do is put a focus on trying to show people that you can have a successful project and a product and still be mindful of the impact that we have on the planet. Super important to me. It should be super important to everybody. We only have one planet. That's basically the short version of it. I just really care about our environment. I want to preserve it for future generations. And I want to show people that even as an independent designer, it is financially viable to avoid using plastic and chemicals in your product. And it didn't take a whole lot of work, especially since my design MO is always to keep the components and stuff as close to paper and sustainable as possible. So stuff that can always be refarmed and regrown and break down in the planet. And paper is pretty safe. You could leave a sheet of paper in your yard and it'll disappear in a few weeks, kind of deal. So yeah, I mean, that's basically it. 100%. We've hit all the stretch goals for the sustainability now. So our game is at 100% recycled components. There's going to be no virgin paper or cardboard used in the game.
Nice.
Some of that's going to be post-consumer, but a lot of it's probably going to be post-industrial, which is just as good. And it's a conversation that people don't have. When factories and stuff, when you're making things like board games or cardboard boxes, whatever, there's always waste. And a lot of that stuff gets recycled anyway because the manufacturers don't want to throw it out. That's money. So it's going to be a mix of probably post-consumer and post-industrial, which is fantastic. Nothing is going to be brand new in this game. And we're also using soy-based inks, which is a thing that if you're not a printing geek or in the industry, because, graphic design, like I am, you might not know about it. And soy-based inks are the closest to sustainable inks that we have at the moment, because it replaces the solvent, which is normally made out of petrochemicals, with soy. And granted, there are some issues around soy, but it's still it's a lot safer than using petroleum from the ground. So I still see it as a win. Like using soy-based inks, you can at least farm it and renew it, and it'll biodegrade. It won't leach chemicals into the ground. So at this point, yeah. And at this point, the only stuff that's traditional stuff that we can't help. So like pigments and inks, for example, they're still using various minerals to make the colors because there's no other way to do it right now. At least not that's widespread enough for somebody like me. And that's basically it. It's like, hey, we're doing well. We managed to do well telling people that we're going to be the closest to eco-friendly as we can make it. And we're just 3 people in a garage, right? Like
a garage in Southern California? What are you?
Yeah, as one of my coworkers put it, because like I put it up. We have a little Facebook group for we and my coworkers, and I put up this goal because we're all environmental people. We're really excited, and one of them posted up was like, "If you can figure it out, why can't Hydro Flask figure it out?" Kind of deal. So it's just always using paper, no shrink wrap, no spot UV, no plastics, and
I worked
Go ahead.
I worked retail for a while, and we were like a sustainable retail company. And my favorite was when we would get shipments, and you'd get like a box that was like yay big, and it'd have one item wrapped in plastic with paper in it, and you're like, yeah, that's definitely sustainable. 100% everything you just said.
Yep. We see that at my employer as well. Supposedly there have been promises made, not just by my employer, but a bunch of other ones in the industry. So we'll see how that pans out. But so far, yeah, I haven't seen a lot of resistance from my manufacturer to any of my demands. They've just been like, oh yeah, cool, it's totally possible. Yeah, we can do paper sleeves instead of shrink wrap. It's easy. It's probably going to save you money.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it when it turns out to be less expensive, to be more sustainable too. Like it is. I know that's not always the case, but it does happen, and people don't even look at those options, and it drives me up the wall.
No, yeah, and that's actually like talking about the sustainability stuff. That's a lot of resistance that I got early on because people were like, well, why are you going to focus on doing this? It's so expensive. I'm like, it's probably not. I'm just going to ask my manufacturer. And then I asked my manufacturer and they're like, yeah, you're not asking for anything crazy here. It's all doable. You know, printing has been around for a couple of 100 years at this point. So especially in the board game space, like there is, and I say this in a post in my Kickstarter update too, is like, I love the sculpture work that goes into those crazy plastic minis as much as the next person, but I just don't like the medium. Like there's, you know, it's never going to break down. It's not sustainable. And even bioplastics are not recyclable. They're not able to be recycled or broken down because nobody wants them. Like they actually, like if you put bioplastics in the compost, industrial compost, it actually ruins the composition of the soil because there's no nutrients in it. It's just cornstarch. But anyway, sorry. I could rant for like hours on this. This could be a TED Talk.
It should be. We have out here every year they do a climate change one, like focusing on different things for climate change. But that's a different conversation. My tea's ready.
Yes.
Oh, good. Yeah, I should probably. Hey, Aven, what are you drinking?
Yeah.
Out of your very fancy cup.
Oh yes.
Oh, nice.
So, but my
IKEA one.
Yes,
so
my inherited fine china.
Cool.
This is so. I'll geek out over the cups if you don't mind for a little bit. This is 24 karat plated gold, vintage, like legit vintage. It was old when my grandparents bought it, so I don't know how old this is. China. When we still call it that, I don't know what the term is these days. But yeah, it's porcelain. And what's in it is Cantankerous Catsmith, which is a catnip-infused tea that was made by, again, St. Bastian's Tea Company as a gift. They're like, Happy Christmas, here's a whole bag of like half a pound of this stuff. And it is a black tea. Infused with a lot of the seasonal spices that you would find, you know, in the winter holiday season. So, you know, like cloves and allspice and cinnamon and, you know, all the things that you put in like a cider, right? But 30% catnip.
Wow.
Yes, which is the thing that we do for the Cantankerous Cats teas. We have 4 of them outside of this one. And it is, I haven't drank this in a while, so. Ooh. So it's really light in body for a black tea. It's the aroma is very crisp. A lot of citrus notes. It's very sweet. And it definitely has that mulled cider sort of feel. And I can't remember which black teas they use as a base. I think it's Ceylon because it's the lighter of them. But it also could be Assam for a little darker because whenever you put catnip in something, it is like a mint. You know, it's related to mint. So it's going to reduce the acidity and it's going to lighten the body of the tea. And yeah,
Sean,
that's what I'm drinking.
I like this tea.
You like this tea?
I do.
And you're drinking Night Owl, right?
It's called Night Owl's Delight.
What does that taste like?
It's a little light.
I'm trying to ride my mute button because somebody's like mowing the lawn or something outside. But go ahead, tell us about the tea.
No, I mean it's a little light. I might try and steep it for another minute, but it's sweet. It's got a sweetness to it. It's got flavor, which is great. I wanted to have more cinnamon. I want everything to have cinnamon. This doesn't have any, but I can taste the lime. Like I get like this kick of lime after, like as I swallow it, it like hits the back of my tongue, and I'm like, ooh, that's fun. Like that's a surprise that I obviously was expecting because it's on the ingredients, but but at the same
well, I mean,
time,
even when you read the ingredients, you're never quite sure how much of it's going to hit you, right?
right.
Yeah. I've never before said the sentence I'm about to say, which is, this would be perfectly paired with a salsa. Like this would be a great tea to have while having like chips and salsa.
While you're studying late at night.
While you're studying late at night.
Yes.
That is something I do. Like, but yeah, that is super exciting.
It's a really cool tea.
I am enjoying it as well, but we'll see how it ages as we keep going.
Yeah.
We're gonna make them work for their review. Hey, if you want to try this particular Dryad tea or anything else Dryad has to offer, go to dryadtea.com and use Sip Happens at checkout for 10% off.
There you go.
But don't do that. Go to the Kickstarter for Prosperity and back that instead.
Do both. No, do both. Support good stuff.
Financially responsible. Very cool. Very cool.
Aven, as somebody who has never set up Kickstarter in my entire life, tell us a little bit about what that experience was like, that journey has been like for you all, and things you've learned along the way that you wish you knew before you started.
Oh my gosh, that could be another TED Talk. Oh my gosh, it's all TED Talk questions.
You know.
So the highlights. Okay. The first thing I will say is the most important thing, and that's what a lot of people. This is what I knew going in, because before I did my first Kickstarter, which was Cantankerous Cats, like 6 years ago now, you have to understand that you are starting a business. The federal government does not care if this is the only game, product, tea, project, whatever your Kickstarter project is. The federal government cares not that you are just one person in a garage. You are a business. We were kind of prepped for it. My art director at the time and I were working together, to do freelance contracting design work and stuff. So we were already kind of prepared for that end of it. But it's not common knowledge, right? Especially for back then. I think Kickstarter's a little better about this as an organization these days. But there wasn't a lot of education informing people, hey, no, it's not as simple as just like, I'm going to turn on this Kickstarter page and get money. You are a business now. You got to account for that money that's coming in to your bank account, because the government's going to see it and they're going to want their cut. That is taxable income.
Right.
And it's not taxed in the same way as if you are a W-2 employee, like most people are used to doing. There's nothing pulled out. So welcome. You're a small business. So that's thing number one. I know it's a big point, but it's important to drive home.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to run and start a small business, you should find somebody that does. You should find at least an accountant and a bookkeeper. They shouldn't be the same person, because then you're going to overwork that poor person, because that's a lot of work.
Noted. But, seems like that's an experience thing.
Yes. Well, it's like experience, and I know a lot of accountants and bookkeepers. So like for us, it was just asking friends who wanted to work, for like contract. But for a lot of people, it's not common knowledge, because I've been a contractor most of my life, so I'm used to dealing with this. But when your 1099 stuff gets a lot more complicated and things get itemized, and it's a lot for one person to manage. But if you have an accountant that's used to doing that kind of stuff, a bookkeeper that's used to doing that kind of stuff, great. And the accountant's going to know how your taxes work. And those two aren't necessarily the same person, because they're completely different skill sets. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. I guess thing number two to know about before you do a Kickstarter, have a plan for after Kickstarter. Like it seems like it seems obvious, but I don't mean like the plan for your product. Again, I mean the plan for like you as a person and as a business, because you're a business now. Like Kickstarter is just the beginning of the life cycle of this thing that you've put out into the world. And knowing what that life cycle looks like will also determine, especially if you're a board game person, whether you should be doing this or whether you should just be looking for a publisher. Because if you don't want to deal with the hassle of like, you know, logistics and fulfillment and doing all that stuff and development, then you should go try to work with a publisher, which is a whole other TED Talk. And also, like, this is a recent development, but and I can only speak for the game space because I haven't done other Kickstarters. I've only Kickstarted 3 board games now. And
only. They say only like it's a little tiny thing they've done.
It is in the space. It is though, because there's people that literally just a lot of designers are putting out like a new project or Kickstarter. It feels like 2 or 3 times a year, and I'm looking at them and going, "Oh my god, how do you do this? This is crazy talk." But having put out 3 Kickstarters, oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. Welcome to ADD brain. But
I've been here for a while.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time with Sean, so I understand ADD brain real hard.
Like that train is going, and you have a point, and then like,
yeah, so fast.
Oh my gosh.
We're talking about Kickstarters. We're talking about making sure that you're a small business, taxes,
life after Kickstarter. Yes. So understanding, like in the game space, do you want this to be a thing that's going to go on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever? And you're just going to keep pumping this game out and you're going to keep making new runs. And is this going to be a thing that's like your life now? Or is it going to be a one and done? Or you're just like, I just want to make a game and do 1 print run, maybe 2, and then be out. Like knowing those parameters is going to make your life a lot more bearable. And you'll have answers to a bunch of questions that people are going to ask you. And having those questions and being prepared makes you more appealing as a person or an entity to back. And honestly, everyone's going to look at you like an entity because that's the standard now. That's what I was getting to. So the current issue with the board game space in particular in Kickstarter is now it's such a thing, it's such a machine that from a consumer standpoint or a backer standpoint, there is no difference between a team like us that's like maybe 2 or 3 people versus an entire company that makes their living putting out as many games as possible on Kickstarter. Like there is no difference in the eye of the consumer. They're going to hold you to the same standards. So knowing how to manage those expectations and answer questions openly is pretty much the only way to fight that. We happen to do a really good job because I am a graphic designer by profession. So we have a really professional looking project page. And I produce videos. Like all these things that we do, I just happen to do them for a living. And we're using it for our own ends. So it looks really good. And it looks on par with something like a CMON would put out or something like a Breaking Games would put out, even though it's just like a few people in a garage. And unfortunately, we did that because that is the expectation now. We could have gone more streamlined, and I wanted to go more streamlined to put less of a burden on me, but that's not how people perceive things anymore. And I've tried the streamlined way and it didn't work. We had to add more stuff. We had to bring a couple more things into the campaign, change a couple of aspects to play like the big boys play, essentially. And it's doing better now as a result. So, you know, it's like, I guess the whole point of that rant is there is an expectation, unfortunately, now with Kickstarter because the platform has established itself.
Mm-hmm.
And doing the best that you can to meet, you don't have to do everything, but doing the best that you can to meet the expectations that you know you can meet, but manage the perceptions of the ones you can't by being more public facing, by being like interfacing with your audience and letting them know like, hey, I'm not CMON. I'm just a person in a garage, but really excited about this thing. And we know what we're doing. And here's why. Oh, sorry. Here's the reasons why you can trust that we know what we're doing, kind of thing. Like, does that make sense? Because I felt a little rambly for a little bit.
No, it totally does.
And again, that's the short version. Much longer talk to be had. But
does your ADHD brain? My ADHD brain does this. Does yours like you get through your point and then you get to the end and you try to like look back and you're like, I have no idea what I just said. Hopefully, all of that made sense.
No, I don't. I'm not that far on the spectrum. Thankfully, I've learned over years of living with this brain, that I should at least remember the goal posts, and especially if I'm talking about something that I've had to discuss multiple times, like an issue like this. I've had the conversation enough where I can remember the tent poles, right? And it's just like looking at which tent poles I've passed. Like, oh, okay, cool. Did I check that box this time? Did I check that box this time? Okay, good. But I'll never remember the details until like 3 weeks later, and then it'll hit me and be like, oh my God, I said that one thing.
I've been there.
Oh my God.
So right now, people are watching on Twitch, right? Well, right now we're recording this, but the people at home are watching this. It's April 7th. It's Wednesday, April 7th. When does your Kickstarter go through? April 11th.
April 11th is the last day. What's that? Oh, 11:59 p.m. So
okay,
all the way until the end, until the very last minute before it becomes April 12th.
That's awesome. So if you're watching this live with us on April 7th, there's still time to head over. If you're watching this live with us at 2 p.m. Eastern on April 11th, when it goes live on YouTube, there's still time to go over. Midnight Pacific?
Yes, Pacific time. Sorry, because I'm in Los Angeles.
No, that's all good. That means that if you're on the East Coast, you got like 3 extra hours. It's going to 3 a.m.
until like 3 a.m.
3 a.m. Yeah. Oh my God. If you just got that like midnight urge to go back a cute little thing, then you can go back a cute little thing at 3 a.m.
Do you have like a live stream party or anything planned for the end of the Kickstarter?
Not at the moment, but I know a few channels. Like I have friends that do a few channels, and I might not be able to do a live stream on their stuff because it's late, and everybody that I know is working now. Like, you know, we're in Los Angeles in particular, production world is starting to spin back up, and that's where a lot of my friends are. And we got those 4 or 7 a.m. call times. So we're working on it. I might just hang out and play music and sip tea and see if other people can host me on their Twitch channels. That might be a thing. But I think the worst case scenario is I'm going to go on my Twitch channel, Bard of Many Things, which is just like, it's literally just an experiment at this point. And just get people to host it and say, all right, cool. We're just going to hang out, play cute songs, drink some tea, ask me anything, sort of affair. Because
that's awesome.
Yeah. And we'll keep it real simple, real cute.
Let us know what you end up doing and anything we can do to help promote or support or host, or if you want someone else to come on with you.
That'd be great. I don't know how to produce that stuff.
Rosie has a real job.
I mean, I have a real job, but like it takes place at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Every job is a real job, right? I mean, we're in the middle of that debate right now in this country for sure.
I mean, that's that's actually fair. That's actually really fair.
Yeah. Are you working and making someone else money? That's a job. That's a real job.
I'm making myself money.
Ooh.
That's true. Rosie runs her own thing. I'm making somebody else money, but it's somebody I like. So you've talked a lot about these like custom tea blends from your friend and the board game. Have you ever thought about like sending real tea with the board game? Like, is that a thing that you've considered?
Oh yeah, that's
facetiously.
That's what happens in this Kickstarter. That's what we're going to do.
What?
Yeah. You get real tea. You get real tea when you back Prosperity. Even at the basic level, you will get. Well, it looks like we're going to hit the 21,000 goal, which is more tea. Because
gosh, if it includes more tea, go now. Go.
It includes more tea.
More tea.
Yeah, but by the time this airs, we will likely have hit the more tea level. So you will get 5 cups of tea with your Prosperity game.
That sounds interesting.
You're going to get a black tea with aniseed, which is, oh my God, it's so delicious. It is so delicious.
I love it.
I have not had anything quite like it. And that's kind of what we wanted to aim for with these teas, is give you something unique that you wouldn't readily get in a cafe, because otherwise why bother making our own custom teas, right? We just make a basic Earl Grey. So you get Ingenuity is the black tea with aniseed. You get Tranquility, which is our robust chamomile tea, which is, I know, antithetical to how a lot of people see chamomile, and I was surprised by this one. And I didn't even like, usually I kind of give input and direction on what flavor profile I want. I didn't give them anything on this outside of, I just want it to be chamomile, and I want it to be really different than your average chamomile. So I almost had nothing to do with this. This is all them. They're like, cool, here you go. And I drink this, and it's like, I don't know what it's been a long time since I've done like the tea tasting terms, but it's a very full, like pungent, robust odor. And it's really like, it just feels like you're drinking a warm hug. And it was like the most.
That is a great description for anything, but like tea, drinking a warm hug. I just want that.
Yeah, like that. It surprised me, and I think as much as I love actual tea, the Tizan wound up being my favorite of the trio just because it was so surprising. But Ingenuity is probably the one I drink most often because and I normally don't like anise because it's just weird. But when you pair it with a black tea, the description we like to say is it feels like you're just walking in the halls of a dusty library and just like sipping it. It's great.
This is great.
And then we have Prosperity, which is named after the game, and that is our light toasty breakfast green tea. And that was kind of the approach there. It was an older tea that they had already had on the shelf that I had already tried before and I liked. And we're like, fine, we'll recycle it for this one. But Justin Bastian, the chef, went ahead and tweaked it a little bit. So it's a little bit more light, a little bit more mild, and is like a tea that you could, it's a green tea that you would drink for breakfast, which is, again, kind of different, right? It's designed to be like your morning tea. And most people really do black tea as their morning tea. So those are the three basic ones. And then we have, as of this airing, presuming we are going to have pumpkin spice, which is an Assam based tea with actual pumpkin and all the spices that you find, so your cinnamon, your cloves, and it is, oh man. We did it for Halloween, and we lovingly called it our basic witch tea. And it tastes like pumpkin spice. If pumpkin spice latte were a tea instead of a coffee. And then we have a caramel apple Tizan that is quite fantastic. It's a rooibos base. So those are the 5 teas that you're getting with and Prosperity.
When are these shipping? When's the project shipping? What's the theoretical goal?
We are promising it by March of next year. So basically we're going to take a full year for it. There is a slight chance we might get it earlier, but I don't want to get anyone's hopes up because of the status of the Port of Long Beach right now is a parking lot. I don't know if anybody has seen pictures.
Yes.
But they're stacked like 10 deep. And these boats, when I say 10 deep, these boats are like the size of warehouses. Yeah. It's not 10 deep like, oh, tiny cruise ship. No.
Tiny cruise ship.
Yeah, I know. I just used the word tiny to describe a cruise ship.
Yep.
Compared to these boats.
Yep.
The situation that's going on right now while we're recording this with the Ever Given in the Panama Canal is like I've seen a lot of like size comparisons of how big that ship is. Like it's bigger than the Empire State Building. It's bigger than, and like I think people are finally starting to understand like exactly what we talk about when we talk about like international shipping. By like these massive ships.
It is no joke. They are the size of towns.
Yeah.
Like it is a small town that goes out on the ocean and gets things from one country to another. Horrifically impressive. Like, anyway, yeah. Tangent. So those are the teas that you get in Prosperity. And if you want to buy more, they are $8 a bag for 1 ounce. It's all loose leaf, so you get about 10 to 13, depending on how generous you are with your portioning. And they're all available.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to having these both whenever my package gets here today, Not that I know what I have coming. And then also when the Kickstarter fulfills, because obviously I've backed this.
We'll have to do like a game day. So like where we play the actual game somehow. Like I don't know how we'll play it across lands, but like, you know, we'll figure something out.
Well, I've got a solution for that.
Okay.
We've done it twice. It's something called Tabletopia. If you haven't heard about it yet, it's Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator. I like Tabletopia more because it's easier to get people into. You don't need to download anything. You just go to the website, make an account, and then poof, like it's virtual tabletop.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, if y'all want to do that, I definitely know how to set that up.
Very cool. We will 100% want to do that with you.
Yeah.
Hey, Rosie, if I get hit by a truck, you co-host. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Checks all the same boxes and is smarter and better looking than me. So let's do it.
You know, I mean, dressed very nicely today. Though not that you aren't dressed nicely, but I'm just saying.
So
Gotta set it up for our guests.
You look like you're ready to just get bundled up and sit in front of a fireplace with amazing tea. Like it's
which in Atlanta, Georgia, is definitely a thing we do. Like I'm not. It's not 90 degrees outside right now.
I was just thinking how cold it is outside and how I was like, that sounds like a great idea. And then you're like in Georgia and I was like, oh, that's where Sean is, right?
Yeah. And then in LA, it's like, 110 all the way to February. We get a cold breeze for like maybe a couple of weeks and then
We're
it goes away.
3 inches of snow away from setting records.
Oh my gosh. That is crazy.
Yep.
Cool.
So, Aven, we've heard about the game. We've heard about the tea. We've heard about what you've learned about Kickstarter. Let's talk a little bit about you. I want to know more about the person. I will readily admit my curiosity comes from in the pre-show you were saying that you are half white, right? And then half Mexican. Am I remembering correctly?
Yes.
Cool.
I'm a mixed descent.
Yeah, I'm also of mixed descent. I'm half Indian and half white. Dutch specifically, and then we're both they thems, and I love meeting people who remind me of myself because I love myself. But no,
loving yourself is good though. You seem like good people. You seem like a good person to love.
But tell us a little bit about yourself. You said you were Southern California born and raised.
Yes. So my family has been in Los Angeles. My grandparents were the first ones to come over, actually. So I am the second generation of my family to be in the Americas. Well, in America specifically. My grandparents on my dad's side are from Guadalajara. Excuse me. And I have been sorry, that was the tea I was playing tea.
That is a part of what we do here. Compliments.
Go figure, you drink a lot of tea and occasionally something happens now. But yeah, dad's side of the family is from Mexico. Law enforcement background. I'm the first one outside of my granddad, like my dad and my uncle. That whole side of the family went into law enforcement. My brother and I were like, no, thank you, for reasons that a lot of people may be familiar with. I wanted to, be nice and joyful and make art and make pretty pictures. So after high school, I went to art school. And then I went to Savannah College of Art and Design.
Yay!
Right near Atlanta. Where I learned how to make, movies. So I didn't even go to school for graphic design. Graphic design was just like a foundational study. So we learned it as a process of doing other things because you need to know good design to do a lot. And then moved back out to LA, started freelancing, and that's what I've been doing for like 15 years. Because I was also doing freelance while I was in school. I didn't finish college actually because I got so busy and I was making money, like stable-ish income. And I was like, this is why people go to school, right? Like to get stable work. And okay, cool. I guess I'm done. Checked out early, but as a result, I have no more student debt.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah. That again, it's like contracting work isn't exactly the most stable, but when you get it, especially like I do a lot of commercial work. I don't do narrative. It pays well, and you when you pay those things off early, it's like a real life video game checklist, right? You're like, oh my god, look, there's another chunk that's gone. There's another chunk that's gone. Whew, okay. I made it.
Awesome.
I wish it didn't have to be that way, but again, that could be that is literally a whole other TED Talk that you could go find probably.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that we're gonna produce a series of extended interviews with Aven on each of these subjects. It'll be a spin-off show from Sip Happens.
But no, but we also have someone that gave actual TED Talks, so maybe she should say TED Talks.
I already did it. I'm done.
I did it. You had the experience.
Yeah. Check that off my list for now.
Yeah.
I hate to be this person, but like we're hitting our time already. We have to talk about how our tea tasted. I know I'm the worst, but we can always invite Aven back on as we get closer to like launch day, like when the board game is getting close to being released, or when we play, or whatever.
Yeah. Do it.
Very cool. All right. Well, then, Rosie, what do you think of your tea?
I'm done with it. There's no more tea in this mug.
I made this giant cup and I'm loving it, but I'm like savoring it. And we have a break after this recording, so I'm gonna like go and drink this for a while. Yeah,
I think it's delicious. I don't know that I'd have it with chips and salsa, but I do see your point. There is like that. Like, I know I'm the worst. It's familiar in a lot of ways. Like it's like your basic black tea that's got like a little bit of vanilla, and then all of a sudden it really surprises you. Like it kicks. There's this little like savory bit at the end that isn't sweet like the beginning, but it's not unpleasant at all. It's delicious. And I genuinely, I did the opposite. I put this one in my smaller mug because I've already had a cup of coffee this morning, and I was like, I'm going to be twitching by the end of like the next interview, so I shouldn't have too much. And I'm like, oh, I should have put it in a bigger mug.
Oh my, you're making me want this tea right now. I'm literally looking it up on Dry Tea's website being like, oh.
It is really good.
It's so good.
Is this...
What about you, Sean? What are you thinking?
I love it. I agree with everything you're saying. I love, like, it starts with a very, you already said familiar, but yeah, a very typical black tea taste with a hint of sweetness, and then goes into this complex body of various different citruses. I'm not tasting any calendula, which makes me very happy.
Same.
Maybe a little bit. And then goes into this savory tail that, oh man, the whole thing is so much fun. Like one of the reasons I still have so much left is like I'm just enjoying every sip. Like I'm really taking my time with it. And there are teas that I drink because I love the flavor, and I'll be like, oh, it's gone, like in 15 minutes, right? Or 5 minutes or whatever. And then there are teas that we drink to be polite. But this is the first tea that I've been like, maybe I should invest in one of those self-warming mugs so that it stays nice and warm for hours. And I can just sip on this container.
Well, you can chips and salsa and do work.
Yeah, well, chips and salsa and do work. Yep, that's what I do.
They have though? Is that a thing? Self-heating mug?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Those totally things.
What? I've not heard of this crazy technology.
Yeah, they usually come with like a plug-in base, and then like anytime it's on the base, it's like it'll try to keep it at a level temperature. Depends on how nice.
Yeah. Oh my god. I think I just found my new thing. Darn.
It happens, costing everyone money.
Yes.
Okay, we have a review scale though, right?
We do.
You want me to go over it because you don't have it?
You know what? You already knew that you were going to because I'm producing the show.
All right. So, Aven, our scale goes from 0 stars to 5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
0 stars, bad. Would recommend against. We very rarely give those out, but they do happen sometimes. 1 star, fine, would not order, would drink to be polite. 2 stars, below average, would drink, wouldn't buy. 3, this is good. I'd buy this. It's not like one of my favorites of all time, but this is excellent. One thing we like to say about 3s is that if it was like a multi-pack with a bunch of like 4s and 5s in it, like we're really happy the 3s are still there, right?
Yeah. So like 3 is basically perfectly drinkable tea.
Yes.
Nothing to write home about, but don't turn it down. Like
right. Yeah. 3 is like where most things should be. Right.
Right.
And then 4, great. We'll definitely order again. And then 5 is awesome. Must keep on hand. This is going to be a daily driver for me. I'm going to have a cup of this at least once a week. Like this is going to be excellent.
Nice.
So, Aven, where is the tea that you're drinking on our scale?
This for me, it's definitely a 4. I know it's weird to say about my own tea, quote unquote, but it's a seasonal, right? Like this is very much a targeted thing. I see what the chef was going for here. I don't think I would send it back for any tweaks because I really like it. But it very much evokes that whole like winter holiday feel. So it's probably something that I would save for that season. Like it's something that I'd pull out every season, but I wouldn't necessarily want to drink it like every day.
It's not a June tea. You're not drinking it in the middle of June.
No. I think it goes to what they were going for with the design is they hit it. They really are evoking that winter feel. But I wouldn't want to drink this in like the middle of summer just because all the spices and stuff would already, like it's already hot, right? Like I could probably ice this, but for me, like all the spices and stuff, just they're better for me hot, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Rosie?
5.
5?
I am going to buy this. Yeah, I'm going to buy a much bigger version of this tea so I have it.
You more? Nothing else on?
I mean, so for me, it's a tea that like I could see myself sitting down with most days. Like there's no reason why I wouldn't particularly want it. I really like the flavor. I really enjoyed. It surprised me. Like I said, it's like this familiar bit with the surprising piece to it. And now that I've had it, I'm like I want this again. Like I was already thinking, I'm like, I can't make myself another cup because I have more tea to drink today. So like I can't.
Yeah, we got a couple more of these too.
I can't do that anymore right now. But I would have probably tried. I would have probably poured myself a second glass if we weren't having other plans later. It's delicious. And you?
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give this a 4. It's gonna be a solid 4 for me. It's a really high 4 though, but I think for me specifically because I want to sit this over time. I like this is a drinking experience, and that keeps it from being a 5 for me, only because it isn't something that I'm just gonna be like, what's a tea that I'm just gonna grab because I want to. I literally sit here at this desk and I do work and I drink tea all day. So,
I know. I literally hang out with.
I see the setup right there.
Yeah. This isn't just the set for this. This is my whole life. Like all of the work I do is just like click. All right, more working.
I know the other day when we were just like online for a while, I think you had 2 or 3 cups of tea during that whole day that I saw. Yeah. Yeah,
no, I've inherited this from my father, who is Indian, who we like tracked it once, and on average he has like 7 to 10 cups of tea a day. And all he drinks is Lipton black tea. That's the only thing he drinks.
Oh my gosh.
And like he'll have one like right before bed. Like it doesn't do anything to him anymore. But yeah. Very cool. Very cool. But yeah, this is gonna be a 4 for me. I want to hang out more. I don't want to end it.
I know, but we promised our guests that we stick to about an hour.
Okay. No. You got to schedule the keep. You got another thing to do after this, right?
That part is also true.
I was about to say the name of the person we're recording next, which I suppose we could do, but their episode's not going to come out for much
It's going to be a while.
It'll be like the worst teaser ever. And this. And the audience like, but wait.
Be sure to tune in.
Wait,
in 2 months. 3 months.
Aven, tell us where can we find you? Where do we go to get more Aven in our lives?
All right. You can professionally, you can find me as @Mentha Designs on all the social medias. We got lucky / early getting all the branding on that stuff, so that's easy. That's going to be mostly games and art. You know, that's what I do professionally. And if you want more personal adventures, but still like curated, it's Design Bard. So design, like I make designs, and then Bard because I am a bard. I play music. So you'll get a mixture of like art, music, outdoor adventures, and things that I think would just bring people joy. It's kind of how I try to curate my personal social media.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's awesome. Sean?
You can find me @Sean Banerjee on almost everywhere. I also got lucky and got my name most places. Instagram, I think, is Sean.Banerjee, but you can find me here on Sip Happens, and then you can find me at Start Playing Games if you want me to run a game for you as a DM. That's the thing. That's my extra plug this week. I'm trying to make it up.
Nice.
Smart,
LinkedIn didn't get a lot for us, but Start Playing Games, I'm hoping. And what about you, Rosie?
Yeah, Rosie_games on Twitter. Find me there. I also just started a Start Playing That Games account, so I can DM for you as well. So if you're looking for that, I love to help new people learn how to play D&D. So if you've never played before, or if you're like a beginner in this particular area, let me know. I will help you learn, and I might start running Monster Hearts 2 games as well because they're fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Rosie, if we wanted to get like an idea for your design aesthetic, is there like a D&D adventure that you've put out or anything that we could find?
Yeah, I mean, if you're ever curious, I've actually done 2. I see what you're doing there. I've done 2 D&D adventures. I wrote one just for social skill development for teens because that's kind of what I do for my paying job.
I don't get a percentage of that one. Move on.
But my company does, and I'm helping teens with social skill development. So I see your point, though. Yeah, there's like this adventure that came out for GaryCon, which actually was pretty recent because this episode's going to air pretty soon. And I wrote Adventure 2, which is called A New Place to Call Home. And yeah, it's on DM Skills, and you can find it there. And Sean gets a cut of it. So
That's what we focus on.
Yeah, Rosie gets a much bigger cut than I do. I was privileged to be the managing editor of the To Survive the Night series for GaryCon 13 this year, and those are all out and for sale, both at the time of recording and at the time of airing of this. But hey, we aren't going to say Sip Happens at the end of this, right? Because for our viewers, we're just going to roll right into a hard cut into me and Rosie drinking tea again.
yes.
Because this
Stay
episode's
tuned.
not
We're
over.
trying more tea.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
I can't wait to hear what you all think of the teas that I sent you, because when we made them, I was really excited. Like they're all, I think, very unique, quite refreshing, and will have spots in everybody's collections.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I'm probably going to have one tonight as soon as the package comes in, not going to lie. And then once Rosie gets hers, we'll figure out a time to review some of them. Maybe I'll just make all of them and be like, ha, 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 ha. I won't be able to remember which one's which.
Just do shots of tea. Anyways. So.
You just got to remember to drink clean water between each cup. That's how you cleanse the palate.
Hydrate.
There you go. Hydrate.
I already had a sip of water.
Thank
All right,
you,
Aven, thank you so
us.
much for hanging out with us.
Not a problem.
Viewers, thank you. Stay tuned. We're going to be trying a tea from Prosperity, and go to Kickstarter and support this game so that you can get it, because it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Oh, right. Website, Prosperity, game.com.
Beautiful.
It'll also be in the chat.
Yeah, I'm going to pop it up in the chat like crazy. So
or in the doobly-doo if you're watching this on YouTube. So.
Yep. Beautiful.
Thank you,
All right,
everybody.
thank you all for the hard cut.
Many
Thank you
hearts.
so much.
Bye.
I'm going to go into the hood of hard cuts.
Hey, Sean, are you around? Sean, we've got a thing to do. You said we were going to do it. Today's the day.
What? I was sleeping down there where I sleep. Why are you here?
Yeah.
It's Monday.
It is Monday, but do you remember we got these awesome teas from the board game Prosperity?
Yeah, Aven's game. That sounds great, but like, how did you get in here?
Yeah, I live in here, so.
Live in my. Oh my god.
Yep.
I need a chair.
Yeah, those are useful.
All right, I'm here. What are we doing?
Yeah, so you remember how we had Aven on for that awesome Kickstarter board game that's like you run a tea shop?
Of course I remember Aven. They're my best friend.
Oh, beautiful. Well, they sent us teas. They just didn't make it in time for the recording, so now we're trying. Yeah, those! And now we're going to try them. Hey, you came prepared. It was like you knew we were doing this.
Just like that. Cool. All right. Well, you said teas. We're going to drink more than one tea today?
We are. The board game comes with 3 teas, as a matter of fact, and we have a sample of each.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes these 3 cups of tea make more sense.
Ah, yes. I prepared those for you.
I'm a little concerned about how much access you have to my workspace while I'm sleeping under my desk.
Well, you know.
Okay. All right. Which one do you want to do first?
I'm really interested in our Tranquility. It smells good.
Very cool. It does smell good. So this is Tranquility. It's a relaxing and colorful Tyson?
Sure.
Sure. And then all of these, let me see if I can get this close enough. So, can you guys see that?
Nope. We can't.
Beautiful.
It doesn't want to. Okay, I'll try it on my end.
Yeah.
Nah, it just doesn't like it.
But
yeah, they have really pretty art on them, pictures.
And then all of them have this saying, which is tea is life, community, love, science, art, joy, delicious craftsmanship, fun, culture, worldly, light, crisp, sharp, green, black, white, health, floral, casual, fancy, sophisticated, simple, rich, everything. Like,
I agree.
Yeah, I agree too. That feels like it should be the very, very long motto of our show.
Yeah, I don't think we have the rights to it, but I hear you.
Yeah. So this is Tranquility, like tea at the end instead of like tie, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You can taste the chamomile.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we don't have ingredient lists for these. I was looking around on the Kickstarter and on their website. Yeah, I'm getting there.
I know, you just woke up. I'm so sorry.
I just woke up. I was looking around and I couldn't find it, which makes sense. Giving away your ingredients, maybe not the thing to do. But what do you think? What do we got?
It's really light, which I enjoy. Like this is one of those drinks for me that I think like a nice summer night, like having this before I go to sleep. That sounds delicious, and I would very much enjoy it.
This already tastes as if it has like a bit of honey in it, and I haven't added any. Which, like at that point, I want to see like how much honey can I add to this before it's just honey flavored. Because I feel like a very small amount of the right kind of honey would really like enhance.
Like a lavender honey?
Yep. I reorganized everything, so that's over there now.
That's fair.
But yeah. But too much honey, I think you're gonna overwhelm the flavor palette.
Yeah, I like that it has a sweetness to it already, though. I didn't make full cups since we're trying 3, because.
Yeah, me neither. Just a taste.
Yep.
I'm ready to move on.
I made like a good amount.
I just chugged tea and my teeth hurt.
But you had to prove a point, so good job. I really enjoyed this one. Which one do you want to try next?
I think we should go with the green tea next, because black teas tend to have a stronger flavor profile.
It's fair. I should have brought water in here, but I definitely didn't.
All right, I'm using my beautiful Valentine's Day present from you.
Yay!
Handmade by Spectacles, Arcane Spectacles.
Arcane Spectacles. Yep. All right, so this is a green tea. Crisp green tea with citrus notes is what the little information says on it.
Yep. And these are all. What?
I can smell the citrus.
Me too. I can also smell the green tea, which is a smell I enjoy.
This is why there are 2 of us on this show, because if it was just one of us, we'd be so biased, we'd never get the right information to our audience. I don't love green tea, for those of you who watched regularly. There have been a couple on the show that have surprised me.
These are all hand blended by St. Sebastian's Tea Company, by the way.
Yeah. This one is called Prosperity. If you are interested in the game and getting them, this is Prosperity. All right, ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, go.
How you doing?
I don't hate it.
Should we have rated the other one before we started this one?
Oh, I give the other one a 3.
A 3. Oh, so bright this spreadsheet.
Wow, yeah, that like changes the whole mood.
All right, it's just gonna be this way, I guess. We started with Tranquility. You started off at a 3. I'm gonna give it a 4. I really liked it. I really like these summer teas that we've been trying lately. And by lately, I mean as we've been recording. So
yeah, so no one knows about them until summer's over.
But yeah, man, chugging that has made me so relaxed.
That's good, right?
I'm relaxed right now. All right, I've written down things about that. All right, so Prosperity, which is a green tea with citrus blends, citrus notes.
This one I almost want to add honey to, like a.
I thought you might.
I don't know, like a honey that has like a little. I don't know what flavor I want it to have.
I thoroughly enjoy this. I like green teas. I like the flavor profile of the green tea. I think the citrus kind of takes some of the sharper edges off, which is interesting for citrus to do that. And therefore, this is just a lot of fun for me. This would easily be a green tea that I would reach for at any time that I feel like I wanted green tea. I like green tea infused with other flavors, but oftentimes you'll run into like a bunch of like chemical flavors. If you're out there like getting raspberry green tea or whatever at the store, like bag teas, they're not naturals.
Yeah.
So this is a solid, like, it's not too terribly citrus. If you're not a fan of green teas, depending on which part of the flavor profile you're not a fan of, this might be one to try.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Sean. I don't taste that, like, I don't know if the word is bitter. Sometimes green teas can be bitter at the end. Like there can be this like, I think bitter is the right flavor, like the right description, but there's sometimes that bitterness that hangs in. I don't have that with this, which I really do appreciate. And I was thinking that this would be really good iced. Like I feel like this would be something I'd want to ice and like sit outside, have a picnic. And I feel like if I had that, I would enjoy it with some like cheese and crackers.
Yeah, I really enjoy the umami flavor profile in here.
Yeah,
but I think green tea can be bitter sometimes. I also think that green tea is really easy to blanch by using water that's too hot. So you may have just brewed it right, but also the citrus might be like giving it a wider window of acceptable heat.
Yeah, it's finally getting warmer out where I am. So I've been starting to think a lot more about which of the teas we've tried that would be really good iced, or even just good like as the night, because out here the night often get like just cool enough where like a nice hot cup of tea really, really feels good before bed. So I've been thinking about like those lighter flavors, and this is definitely one of them. So I like it. For green tea, it's definitely high on my list. Not high on my list for all teas, but for a green tea.
What rating would you give it?
I'm also giving this one a 3.
Whoa, a 3 for a green tea on you. For you to give a green tea a 3, that's a lot.
That's like
I'm also
giving it a 5.
I'm also giving this one a 3. I think it's a solid tea. I'd be happy to have more of it in the house. I think if I were ordering Tranquility and it came bundled with this, I'd be happy to have this. But I don't know that I'd go and order this one specifically.
Right.
But I have a lot of green teas I enjoy. So.
That's fair.
Should I chug this one too? No. Why did I make full cups of these? Did I think we were going to hang out for like an hour and a half?
I don't know. We were going to do 5 minutes and we're already at 11, so we're well on our way.
I knew it wasn't going to be 5 going in. Ooh, this one.
Shut the front door. This smells good.
So this is Ingenuity, an invigorating blend of black tea. And again, we don't have an ingredient list, but this is very like
caramelly. Is that caramelly?
Yes, thank you. I was like, it's something sweet. It's not quite honey. Yes, it smells like caramel or caramel. Yeah.
I love this one.
Tell me more.
I don't really know what else to say. We've already it is dark. It's robust. Now, like it's a deep black tea. Like there is some kick to it, but that caramel and maybe vanilla, like light. Like I can still taste it on the back of my tongue when I'm done drinking it, and I like that taste.
I am afraid I may have oversteeped a tiny bit, and we're getting a little bit into Tannin Town. But I will try to adjust my review for my own incompetence. I completely agree with you. This is a nice, rich, deep black tea flavor. It has the sweetness. It has the vanilla at the end, which kind of like brings it out and mellows the whole experience. I think it has a little bit of natural bitterness. But again, I'm in Tannin Town a bit, so that might be the tannins I'm tasting. But you sometimes
I'm not getting the bitterness on my side.
Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and say that it was my fuck up that's giving me bitterness. But honestly, I don't hate it. Like, I don't hate the level of bitterness I have because of how sweet it is overall. And it adds to that, like, dark, rich flavor profile.
This to me is like, this reminds me. So growing up, my grandmother always had Lipton tea. Like that was her tea, right? And we would go to her house, have lunch, and then she would always have some sort of like dessert, some sort of like cookie or cake or something. And we'd sit down and have tea. And this is a tea that I would rather have in that particular space. But this is a tea I would have at that time, right? Like after lunch, still have the most of the day ahead of me. I want a kick of caffeine, but I want that like dessert flavor in my tea as well as obviously whatever I'm snacking on. And this feels like that tea that I would want for that event. Like that, this is the tea I would want.
Yeah. If any of you, like me, oversteep your tea a bit, add just a touch of a not super sweet honey. I know that sounds ridiculous, but like if you try an acacia honey, or a sourwood honey, add just a touch, and you'll clear out some of Tannin Town and save your cuppa.
I'm rating this one a 5, y'all.
Shocked I am. shocked I
This
am.
is one I want to have around. This is one I like a lot, and I will see if I can order this blend somewhere. I know that you get some when you order the game, but I want more than just some.
You can get up to like I think ounce bags.
Yeah,
when you back the Kickstarter.
Oh yeah, for like $8. Is that what Aven said? Like $8 or something like that. I forget how much it is. But anyways, for an additional fee for the Kickstarter, you can get more tea. So this will be one that I want. Speaking of the Kickstarter, Sean.
Yeah.
Like, what is it still going on?
It is still going on when we're recording this, and in 2 days when we're broadcasting this. The Kickstarter is going to go till Sunday, April 11th at midnight Pacific time.
Beautiful.
It is currently fully funded. A bunch of stretch goals have been unlocked. I've backed it. You can back. So for the big tea lovers out there like yourself, you can back the variety blend, and it's just 1 ounce of each of the 3 teas and a heart-shaped tea strainer and a thank you card on seed paper. So that might be perfect for you if you're interested in the game itself.
I am interested in the game itself. You might not know this, but I enjoy tea. So I think board games. Oh, okay, cool.
You can start pledges start at $29 to get the game itself. That comes with 3 tea samples, which I imagine will look something like these. These are pre-bagged for you in their sustainable, eco-friendly bagging, which was thoroughly effective. And then you can go all the way up to like, 275. And I think they blend you a new tea for yourself. But yeah. Awesome. 3 ounces of bespoke loose leaf tea created to your specifications. If you back at 275, and various levels in the middle. And then I believe Aven did say that at whatever level you back, you can add teas in the backer kit on the back end as add-ons. So if you want specifically one of the blends more than the others, you can add more bags in.
Awesome.
I don't know that I gave this one a number. Did I?
You didn't.
Cool. This is going to be a 4 for me as well. This is a solid black tea. I'd reach for this anytime. This is so good. I just want to say that average ratings for the 3 teas that we've had from this company have been 3.44 and 3.35. Like, that's a really high average.
And I'll be honest with you, I think if I take that green tea and ice it, it might bump it up to a 4. I just feel like that's a tea that I know. Sometimes green teas are good. Anyways, I'm not getting into this. Yes, I think if I take the time to ice it, which I might do because we have some more of it, and then I might come back and revise that to a 4 and just add like a touch of some honey to it. I think I'll really like it. But yeah, I mean, even as is, a 3 is nothing to stick your nose up at. Nope,
definitely not. Aven and the team over at Saint Sebastian, amazing. Saint Bastian, I keep saying Sebastian. Saint Bastian Tico, amazing work. Yeah. Audience members, get out there and back this Kickstarter. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and B, I can personally attest that it will be delicious.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Not a word I use for Kickstarters all that often.
Yeah. And thank you, Aven, and everybody for sending us the samples to try. We really loved having them. And we will see you next week with another guest.
And as we like to say, because we didn't at the end of Aven's episode, I remember.
Sip happens.
It happens.